Hello there, I'm Solder. Today we're going to be starting a series on making a very simple RTS engine in OpenGL with C++. So I'm not trying to make this super complicated. The main thing is just going to be like making entities move around and doing like swarming and sort of that sort of stuff. Not like I'm not gonna try and like compete with StarCraft or anything. It's just gonna be just more of a learn the ropes of this particular type of game and game engine specifically. So I've got this basic project set up. It's nothing to write home about yet. Today we're gonna be going over like the dependencies and just getting everything set up properly. But yeah, this is technically not a tutorial, but you're welcome to follow along. A lot of the things will, yeah, it's not a tutorial, but I'll be showing you the code, and I won't do much off camera. But anyway, so first things first, we gotta get ourselves a window manager, and fortunately for me, there's a lot to choose from. I'm going to be using GLFW. I like GLFW. They work pretty well. I haven't had much trouble with them. Yeah, I was just going to download that. I actually already downloaded it before, but I'm just going to do it again just so I can show you guys. So let's just extract it to, where am I? There, into the libs folder. And then we are going to close. That's all we need to do. So if that worked properly, we should have GLFW here. And that's pretty simple. Now we need to tell CMake to use it. So I believe it is include subdirectory. No, it's just subdirectory. It's just this part, add subdirectory. That's it. This part of the process, I always kind of forget. What was it called? I believe you just specified the direct lib /GLFW 3.3, I think is the thing. Oh, I guess I already put this here because I tried to record this once, but the audio quality was really bad, so I'm doing it again. But yeah, in theory that should be correct if I remember add subdirectory correctly. Source dir. Yeah. That looks right. This part I always forget how to do this part because it's not something ideally you shouldn't be messing with the CMake thing all that often. But okay, let's just build this to see if that worked. Okay, it's not complaining. That's good. And if it worked, GLFW /GLFW3. And if I build that again, yeah, should be working. Okay, first things first, because occasionally with these sort of APIs, you can run into like bugs and stuff, or just general programming errors on my part. So I'm gonna actually start out with adding or setting the error callback. And we're actually going to use, what do you call them? They're lambdas. I don't know if it's called lambda, but whatever. We're just going to use like in this inline function format. Let's try our star description, which is really nice. I remember older versions of C++. Like when I started C++ as a kid. And it was not nearly this nice. I actually moved to like C# mostly, and then I've been doing Java for a couple of years now, or Kotlin mostly. But anyway, so all we're gonna do is we're gonna use the IOStreams CR. I don't know. That's not a function. I don't know what you call it. I think it's an output stream. Yeah. But yeah, we're just gonna do GLFW error, and then we're going to give it the error, that on a new line because it's nice to do that. And then we're just going to do the description. Oops. Yes. Alrighty. So yeah, that should tell us if we're doing anything dumb with GLFW. We won't be using it a ton. It has some stuff like well, I'll get into it when I have to do stuff like input and otherwise, but mostly we just want to get first things first. I'm actually doing this wrong. I need GLFW init, and then if that doesn't succeed, I will complain to the user, aka me, that unable to initialize GLFW. Window. Visual Studio Code's being a bit slow today, probably because I'm recording. Not 4. I mean, honestly, the number doesn't matter that much as long as it's different. Okay, so now if GLFW is initialized, let's actually, before I do anything, let's make sure I tell it to terminate when the program ends, just to be clean. Next thing we want to do is set the window hints. Oops, I guess it's just window hint. Window hint GLFW OpenGL profile. GLFW profile core. Does not like me today. Okay, core profile. I might be able to use any, but I'm just going to use core because it's simpler. Now we have to set the GLFW version. Hint GLFW OpenGL version? No. That's version major. We're going to do 3.3 for this series. I mean, I want to be able to use some of the new stuff, but I don't want to exclude anybody who's not running the most recent version. So this should do for now. And then we create the window. So it is a GLFW window pointer. And that's created with create window. Pass in width, height, title, RTS engine. Monitor will be a null pointer because I don't care. This will also be a null pointer because I don't have another. I'm not sharing. Not entirely sure what that does. I think it shares the OpenGL profile, if I had to guess, so that you can use it on multiple windows. I mean, that makes sense if you wanted to have like kind of the way some of the older like programs used, like Photoshop and stuff, used to have windows within windows, but we're not going to be doing that. And then we're just going to check if window equals null pointer. And again, we're going to complain. Unable to create window. It is really slow today. And we're going to terminate and return -1. Okay, now, well, one more thing before I forget. Let's GLFW make context current. Tell the program that all GL calls will be using this particular context. Apparently, I think I need the window to do that. And when the program exits, I'm going to destroy the window explicitly. My cursor. Window. I believe I also have to destroy callbacks. I'm not actually sure how to do that. Or if I need to do that. I mean, technically I don't. I mean, if I were to want to use a callback only for a bit, I would need to do that, but we'll worry about that later if it becomes an issue. Alright, so now we just need to make a basic game loop. I'm not going to be doing any of the fancy looping techniques, mostly because I don't remember them off the top of my head and I just want something displayed through the screen for the moment. I'll look into those later. So GFW window should close. Window. And technically speaking, that's all we have to do. I mean, well, not really, but just to get a window open, that's all we have to do. But we're going to pull the events and swap the buffers on the window itself. Events doesn't require a window. It's kind of weird to me, but I guess it kind of makes sense. If you're not actively focused on the window, you could still have it be getting events or just not limiting events to one window. I mean, that makes sense because but yeah. So with all that in place, if we run this, okay, that didn't seem normal on that. No, okay, that's doing it. It's just taking a while. Oh, okay. It is complaining. What is it complaining about? Someone's loaded. I'll probably entered something wrong if I had to guess. It's complaining about looking for particular files. So, oh, yeah. Yeah, I forgot this thing. So it's trying to build some dependencies if I had, from the looks of it, and well, I don't think the dependencies are super relevant for my particular thing. There's actually, I'm gonna look at an old. Yeah, I'm gonna look. There's GLFW has some things that it builds by default, and I don't want those things to be built because they're not guaranteed to necessarily work, and I just need my project to work. I'm not particularly, yeah. So essentially, the docs, tests, examples, that sort of thing. Set GLFW build docs off cache bool force. And then we're gonna do. I'm just gonna duplicate that. That'd be a little easier. I mean, I could just copy paste, but I kind of like typing things out just so I'm more likely to remember. I mean, I always forget this particular step, but examples. And now let's try and build it. It should work better now because it's not trying to link examples. Unable to create window. Okay. Context profiles are only defined for OpenGL versions 3.2 and above. Okay. Oh, I might not have specified. It might be version. Oh, GFW version. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so basically the issue, I was using the wrong enum because honestly C++ is kind of dumb about that sort of thing. I don't really like, or I guess it's C's the real problem. There we go, context version major. Yeah, I was basically specifying GLFW's version, which I don't really want to do. I mean, technically it was, well, I guess it was. Oh, this must have that must have been like a regular value or something. Oh well. So that now it should work. And there we go. We got our nice black window. So now we're going to check out getting a this theoretically is good enough because we could just go. I don't need this anymore. We could just do something like, I think it's find package and then OpenGL or something like that. I forget. But I'm actually going to use a thing called glad. If you're familiar with stuff like glue or glut, this should be at home. You should be should be very similar. But basically, I'm just going to give it. Basically, it's just a loader generator or loader for OpenGL, and I like it, and it makes the installation less. I'm just gonna add all. Makes the installation or makes syncing versions of OpenGL easier, because the version on my computer might be different than the version on a different computer, assuming that they're going to be building this. But yeah, so this all looks good. Let's generate that. And then let's get the zip. Let's open it. I've already actually got a version saved, but we'll just use this version because it is up to date. And where am I? Oh yeah. Libs. Oh, is it? I'll fix this later, but it's probably gonna put them just straight there. Alrighty. Now, it's got the source and include files. I could theoretically just put these files in the main directory, but just to keep everything nice and clean, I'm just gonna create a folder for it. And move that one. Yeah, move. There we go. So we have to do a little bit more to get it to sync up with this project. I am going to do a thing here where I'm actually going to create a CMake file. I mean, there's multiple ways of doing this. First things first, I always forget this. Version 3.2. It seems a little low, I think. But yeah. And it's add, I think it's add library. Or, I think I forgot to make the project. Doesn't seem to care, but this sort of stuff I always forget. Name version. TS engine. 0. Gosh darn it. I'm just gonna look in another example. Back at the file I just closed. Oh, okay, yeah. Version. Okay. Like I said, I am new at this, so this should be interesting. And I'll just leave that open, and then I'm going to go to Glad's version, and then I'm going to project, Glad project. I don't know if I care about that for this. I'm just gonna add a library because the project's going to be the OpenGL one, or the root one, and give it a name. Glad. I don't remember if I probably have to specify the include directory. So, and let me take a look at this. Okay, I'm just gonna specify /glad.c, dependency, and then include target include directories. I think specify glad, and then source. No, let's include. Oh, yeah, it should that should work because it's in the same folder, so it should be fine. And then I'm just gonna make that a dependency. The name is glad, and I should just be able to add subdirectory. Oops, let's glad, and then target link library glad private. Oops, other way around. Game private glad. That should work. Let me find out. Okay, so it is target link include directories called in with invalid arguments. Did I forget to specify? Well, if I just did that. How am I doing it here? I just do include directories. I mean, target include directories is probably better, but it's not working. It's not working. Figure it out later. Okay, looks like that's working. I'm gonna take a break to get a drink. Okay, I'm back. Let's see. The real test is if I load this glad.h and build it, that'll work. Okay, so it's not finding that directly. I'm doing something wrong. Fortunately, I've actually gone through this process before, and when I was going through some tutorials on OpenGL. So I'm just gonna figure out okay. It's mostly the same. But yeah, I'm just gonna copy this because it's good. I could probably just put this all in the main CMake lists. In a way that might be simpler. I don't know. I just kind of like the folders taking care of themselves. But yeah, that should work then. Assuming I'm doing this properly, which looks like I'm doing that properly. And I'm going to build again. Okay, so it's not complaining anymore. Alrighty. Okay, so now that we've successfully built the project, let's actually start using glad. Or we have this this part I always forget because it's kind of weird. Loader. No, maybe it's the glad function. Glad GL loader is glad loader proc. Load proc, and it should be GLFW loader. I forget. Get proc address. Yeah. Okay. it's not complaining, so I guess that's the correct thing to do. I'm gonna first things first. I don't remember what this returns. Okay. So it looks like it returns 0 on errors, which is good. So if not glad loader glproc, then I will complain. Unable to spell, apparently. Unable to initialize glad. There we go. And then we'll be a good people and destroy the stuff. One thing I would like is the ability, kind of like in Go, where you can defer things. Because that'd be really nice. I don't know if I need to do anything with glad to destroy it. If anybody knows better than I, then by all means let me know. But with that, we should be able to do AGL clear color and do sum off gray color. 3F 0.4, 4F, and then 1.0. And just clear the screen with that. Color buffer bit. And that should be good. If everything went according to plan, should build fine and then be good. It looks like it is. Yeah, there we go. There's our slightly bluish green gray. I actually kind of like that color. Anyway. Alrighty. Okay, next thing to do, I don't think we need this. We probably will. Oh well. Next thing, let's just get something displaying to the screen for now. Next, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So I'm just gonna do a rudimentary triangle because that's simple. And float vertices equals this thing, which will be start bottom left, negative 0.5f, negative 0.5f, and 0.0f. I'm not going to do colors for this. I'm just going to do just positions. And the next one is going to be counterclockwise, so it would be opposite side, same y, same z. And then this one will be 0.0f, and then 0.5f, 0.0f. And that's, I don't need an index buffer because I'm not making a square, and I don't need an index buffer either way. So let's just create our vertex buffer object. So unsigned int VO, let's also specify the VBO here because why not? Then do GL, is it create? No, it's like gen vertex arrays. And there are only one, and VA. GL gen buffers, same idea, oops, and VBO. Then we're actually gonna fill the buffer. GL bind buffer, VBO, no, that's Nenum, not, buffer, array buffer, yeah, VBO. And then we're just gonna give it data, buffer data, GL array buffer. Kind of wish you could just specify the VBO specifically. Size pointer, I think that's size of vertices, and then usage GL static draw, and that should be. It doesn't like that. Why isn't it like that? An int is not compatible with const void. That would make sense. I kind of need to pass in that. There we go. Okay. Now, I don't think this will actually display anything because I haven't created a shader. But I'm going to do that anyway because I can. I'm going to try GL draw arrays. And GL triangles. Triangles. Spell correctly, please. 0. Count is 3. I'm pretty sure this is not going to work correctly. I should be unbinding this and then binding it again. Which I'm actually just going to bind it again. I won't unbind it, but... Oops. Bind vertex array. Oh, speaking of binding vertex arrays, I never actually bound the vertex array. I mean, it may look like I'm just doing the same thing over and over again, and I am. Mostly because in case I have another vertex array. But we shall see about that. And I assume this will not show anything, but it depends on your machine. Sometimes it shows nothing. Yeah, I'd assume so, because I don't have a shader. Let's create one. Oh, also, before I do that, GL vertex attrib pointer GL index 0. I need it. It's 3, I think. GL float GL false stride should be I think it's like size of float times 9. I'll just go to 3 times 3. Let the compiler optimize that, and I'm not having any offset. Wait, no, that's a stride. I'm dumb. Yeah, stride should just be times 3, because it's gonna read 3 and move 3. Getting a lot of calls today. Okay. Still probably won't display anything. I am curious, but first things first. GL enable vertex attrib pointer. Vertex attrib array. These are way too similar. Really don't like how this is named. There's like two. There's array attrib and there's attrib array. And might actually be using the wrong one, but we'll find that out. Okay, so next thing, unsigned and int vertex shader, fragment shader, and program. And okay, let's see if I remember how to do this. GL create shader. No, I'm probably skipping a step. GL vertex shader. If I am skipping a step, I will find out pretty soon. Shader source and oh. This returns something. Yeah, they changed how this worked. So this actually isn't. Well, I'll keep it here just because it makes sense to makes sense to keep in it, like the allocations all in one place, or relatively in one place. Vertex shader, source, VS, and then I think it's consequence length. Do I need to specify that? Size count? I think it's just one? I don't remember this at all. I think it's just the one, right? Okay, first things first, let's actually specify the shader itself. It's like R. There's some way to do this. I'm trying to remember. Alrighty, so I actually lost some of my recording because I turned off the recording to look up a problem or fix a problem or figure out how to do the raw syntax. It actually got a little further than you last saw, but essentially I'm just creating a vertex shader, just passing the position through out of it to the fragment shader, setting the position, doing all the checks and stuff. Then I'm creating the fragment shader and setting the color based on the position and linking program, all that jazz, and then basically just showing it. And if we look at that, that will give us this. It's actually a fairly nicely colored triangle. I mean, if this were to extend all the way to the corner here, this would be black. This would be, oof, I don't know what this would be. Well, I guess it's based on position. But anyway, yeah, there's the triangle. Standard stuff. Also, I added some. Oh man, I lost a lot of stuff. So I added entity X, had to do some stuff with that. I ended up actually just cloning the repo, just adding it here because the source files they provided had a bug. Also added GLM. You can get that online. This is just the source without like their. Well, actually, it looks like maybe it is just a zip file of the GitHub repo. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, that's all I did. Other than that, really kind of annoyed that I lost all that footage because I did have to do a bit of debugging. This wasn't displaying because I was doing putting 0 here. Either way, this all works. But yeah, so that's all for today. Tomorrow, or not tomorrow, the next episode will be actually using Entity X and displaying like multiple entities to the screen, having them. We're probably just gonna have them bounce around like the DVD logo, just kind of change direction when they hit the edges of the screen. Speaking of that, I probably will do some stuff with the create a camera thing, or might not. I'll decide that later. But for now, that's all for today. Thanks for sticking around with me and putting up with my nonsense. And I guess that's it. Thanks. Goodbye.